When and where were you a volunteer?
I was a volunteer in South Africa from 2013 to 2014.
What kind of volunteer work did you do?
I lived in an orphanage in Tambalifley Home, so me and my partner there were school teachers, but because we lived there, we were sort of part of the morning routine, the after school routine, holidays, weekends, so it's kind of a full-time caring role as well as a full-time teacher role.
What is your happiest memory from being overseas?
I'd say most of my memories are happy. There's a lot that stand out. One in particular would be Christmas. It's just such a happy time for everyone anyway, and it was good to see the different aspects of the South African culture, and we sort of combined that with our culture, and my partner and I decided that we'd dress up as Santa and give the kids different presents and do different games and activities. So it was a really nice day, lots of fun.
What was the greatest challenge you overcame while away?
I think going away at such a young age, I was 17 when I went abroad, it comes with a lot of different challenges in itself. I'd say probably the biggest challenge was when our placement had to end early, just for a number of reasons and sort of difficulties within the community and the placement, but no one's fault really, it was just one of those things that happens. But I suppose fortunately myself and my partner were both able to go on to different projects and through the last month or so there. So there's positives that came with it as well. It was just a bit of a challenge that the placement ended quite unexpected.
What is it you currently do now?
I am currently a social worker in children and families.
How did volunteering with Project Trust influence the rest of your life?
Initially when I went away to do my gap year, I had a deferred entry to study law and management. But when I was abroad, there was obviously social workers in the orphanage, and I'd never really knew what a social worker was. I'd never worked with one, never come across one. It was probably naivety of me in assuming that a lawyer was a social worker almost in that role that they had. And I think sort of it just changed my perception of who I was and what I wanted to do with my life. So I went on, did my year of law and management, and then moved on to studying social work, which I'm really glad I did.
What impact is COVID-19 having on your life and your work?
On my work, it's having a huge impact. We work day to day with clients. We do a lot of face-to-face and home visits, and a lot of our intervention work is done that way. So it's having a big impact in terms of being able to provide the intensity of support that you usually would. So we're being creative in how we're doing that, using a lot of FaceTime and Skype, and just trying to provide as much support as possible in these times, and reassurance for everyone that we're working with, although it is difficult. And in my personal life, I suppose it's just that aspect of not being able to see your friends and socialise as much as you would like to do different things and be outside as much. So it's about finding different things you can do inside to keep your mind active and to sort of take the focus away from COVID-19, which is on everyone's minds all the time.
How did Project Trust impact your view of the world?
I think for me, when I went away, I was 17, had a pretty privileged lifestyle. You know, my mum bought me a car, and I was very sort of well-to-do, and I didn't ever have to struggle with money or anything like that. And I think going away made me fully appreciate how fortunate I was in terms of my family, but also in terms of my social situation. I was able to go to school, go to uni if I chose. I was able to get a job very quickly, and none of that had ever really occurred to me that would be a difficulty for someone. And I think going away really changed and educated me on the bigger world and how difficult life is for a lot of people, and that's probably why I've gone into social work, and I've really think I've changed myself in terms of what I appreciate and respect in people, and think about communication and relationships and families, and how that's to me now is so much more important, and having a foundation in terms of a solid communication rather than, you know, money or a good job or a fancy car. So Project Trust probably completely 100% changed my outlook on the world and what my goals and aspirations were in terms of that.